Live from the Fleet Farm Studios, back to the KQ Morning Show.
8:33, 27 minutes till 9 o'clock at KQRS. Walser Automotive Group, Walser.com, bringing you more of the KQ Morning Show. The Twin Cities' one low-price dealer group with upfront no-haggle pricing on every single vehicle they sell. 24 dealerships over 2 states and a love-it-or-leave-it return policy. Experience the Walser way at Walser.com. Doug Sprinthal just about 10 minutes from now. For Walser Automotive Group, Walser.com, our very special guest, the sports professor, Rick Horrow. Rick, you're going to have an argument with Bob Sansevere because he thinks he's the sports professor.
No, I've won that argument. Just listen to him.
Sandy, were you arguing with him about that?
No, he is the preeminent sports professor. The rest of us would be sports something else's.
No, if I'm the preeminent one, you're the almost eminent, small a.
Okay, I like it.
Like it?
Almost. I like that a
almost
lot.
Eminent. Right, exactly.
How do you guys know one another?
By the way, I just want you to know that of the times I visited Minneapolis, I played golf here, some August, and it's great because you can play until 2 in the morning, right? But then I thought mega events here were synonymous with 40 below zero, and then I realized it's not just the Super Bowl. I could actually walk out today and don't have my face freeze. Congratulations to us.
It's absolutely true. Now, Bob, how do you know Rick?
Actually, I've done stuff with Rick going back to the ticket because I got to know him then, and he.
Okay.
I mean, he does know. No one knows the business of sports better than he does. And Rick, you've done over 100 deals, right, with helping teams and cities get teams as well as stadiums.
Yeah, way back when. I mean, Kevin Warren and Mark Welfer are fantastic, and you guys are great to have those people here, but it wasn't always that way here, as we know. And I worked with the NFL and NASCAR and others to do public-private partnerships and now do a lecture series at Harvard Law and have a new book, which is kind of important to me as well. And Sansevere's involved in all of that, so I'm happy to share the few minutes with you guys.
That's wonderful. Forward by Mike Krzyzewski, as a matter of fact. Or else, actually, I want to be a morning radio guy doing the interview. So, Rick, I understand the forward was done by Mike Krzyzewski. I'm a big fan of Krzyzewski.
There's a lot of Z's and a lot of Y's. And you want me to just take over and you shut up for a while? That'd be fine.
I would love to do that. Go ahead, sir.
No, So Bob knows this has been a labor of love for me for a long time, and I'm just older than most, so I have a lot more contacts than most. And I asked originally, it was Jerry Colangelo's idea, and then we Paul Tagliabue and Donald Dell, some of the big guys in the industry, and we said, why don't you write a few comments? No, let's write a chapter. And then for some, it's a sidebar, and the net result over a 3-year period is over 100 big-time names who have basically influenced the business. And just for example, people from the basketball community who are contributors to the book, Coach K the Forward, obviously, Shane Battier and Jay Billis and Joe Castiglione, the AD at Oklahoma, Robin Harris, the person who runs the Ivy League, Larry Scott, who runs the Big 12. Kevin Warren wrote a chapter. It's a wonderful chapter, and he, as you know, is the president of the Vikings. HKS, the architectural firm who designed U.S. Bank Stadium, wrote a chapter as well. And so it's a labor of love. We also talk about the 50 greatest moments in sports history, and everybody can debate them, for example. So you realize 50 years ago, last week, Curt Flood's antitrust lawsuit paved the way for salaries the way they are. And 40 years ago, was the anniversary of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, which ushered in the fabric of the NBA and the fabric of Final Four. So we do that, and then we're going to do a tour in each city of the greatest moments in sports history in those cities. And we'll be back sometime this fall to do that, maybe during a Vikings preseason game. It'll be up to Kevin.
That'll be fantastic. I also like the one paragraph in the book where you talk about the fact that NBC football, Sunday Night Football sideline reporters just get in the way. I think that was...
I didn't say that. Somebody else did, okay? Any comment that's negative, it would be from one of my contributors. Any comment that's positive, it's from me. Just assume that.
Did someone say that?
No, I forgot who. You got to buy the book, $39.95.
Listen to her voice crack when she asked that.
How's that? Yeah, right.
Probably Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons is not in the book. He wanted to be in the book. So, but
I'm happy to know he's not.
Yeah, but we listen. We don't have to get into that, but we covered the media front. We have Mark Lazarus, who is the chairman of the NBC Sports Group and NBC, as we know, and he
is one of the greatest men in my life. I love Mark Lazarus.
Wow, you and hundreds of other thousands of people who are involved with him. He's an incredible human being, and he's an incredible administrator, and he's now running, by the way, as you know, NBC Sports, but also the entire news organization.
Yeah, and he oversees the affiliates and so forth.
Oh, are you an affiliate?
No, she's the sideline reporter on NBC Sunday Night Football,
Wow.
Michelle Tafoya.
Michelle, no, I know. I understand. How's that? Yeah, no, I'm kidding. Sansevier, tell her I'm a good guy, okay, please?
I think she's finding out what kind of guy you are on her
I
own.
really am. Yeah,
No,
it's very
you
clear.
30 seconds. This one took 15. Sorry about that. So
I understand that completely. I think it's a great idea. What inspired the book in the first place, Rick? It's a great idea.
Well, so, I took a look at all the friends that I have in my life, and then I realized there aren't many. But, I went to Harvard Law, and it's an interesting story, bet a squash game with a professor on whether or not I could actually write a thesis on sports business. And if I won, I would get a hall pass from all of the stadiums, and I could do a hockey violence expose on criminal law, which 30 years ago, 40 years ago, whatever, never heard of. And if he won, I'd shut up and be a normal lawyer, and that kind of changed the history of my life. And he was 80 years old, but I don't want to tell that story. So anyway, we did that, and then at the end of the day, I've just been building the business through a number of diverse means. And over the last 3 years, it's been let's talk to all of the people who are influential in my life, but also can provide some advice on where the business is going and what's happening with it, and also from perspectives of people who want to learn a little bit, Michelle knows, want to know a little bit more about the business, but don't want to be deluged by it. And this is a how-to book. It's a storytelling book. It's an advice book. Tagliabue, Bettman, Garber, Jack Nicklaus, Steve Ross. We have Don Shula. Different walks of life, politicians, owners, players, and even Jay Billis, who thinks he's an owner, player, politician, and whatever. Oh, I hope he's not listening. So he's even in here.
Rick, so you're at the Final Four, the championship game tonight. Please don't tell me you get to go to Augusta on Wednesday.
Well, no, I'm going Tuesday. So how's that? And then the Long Beach Grand Prix, because we have a friend who's a driver, and then back to Chicago for some opening Cub games. So Michelle knows you got to travel for business, and IRS. This is all business. You hear me? She knows too, right?
I'm just far too depressed to continue. That's all I have to say. No,
yeah,
it's great.
Listen, you can't. I'll come back for a Twins game on one of the 2 days during the summer when you didn't need a retractable roof. By the way, are you stinging from the decision that just for maybe $70 more million you guys could have had a retractable roof, or is that something you want to talk about?
I am a huge baseball fan. I absolutely love baseball, and I would rather play outdoors. It's a beautiful stadium.
It's a phenomenal ballpark.
Stadium, even in March.
Well,
doesn't matter. Some days it's going to be good, and some days it's not. But it's no different from the Twins were playing in Philly the other night, and it was freezing in Philly. So whatever, it is
Michelle,
what it is.
Remember, you'll go to a game because you'll go to a game. But what about the casual fans? And they look and say it's 32 degrees. Why am I going? Or is that not Minnesota?
I think it all depends on how good your team is, and that's always what's going to fill the seats.
Quality. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that one thing. But we could talk baseball and all of the other stuff. But what a dome does is it kind of guarantees that entertainment will carry the day, not just winning. But
I'm a big dome fan. I wish I could cover every NFL game in a dome. That's the God's honest truth. I love domes, but I love that ballpark, and I don't see how it would have worked so well with a dome.
Well, cool. I don't know how much time we have, but how about U.S. Bank? I mean, isn't that a beautiful facility?
Yes.
It's a dome, but it doesn't feel like it. And kudos to HKS and all the people who then take the next step, because, I've been in the business of doing this, and if you have a bad building or bad funding, it makes the next step harder. If you've got great stuff like Atlanta, then Minnesota, Indianapolis, Dallas, now L.A. L.A. is going to be beautiful, and people going in it saying, man, this isn't just a football stadium, this is an entertainment complex. And then Vegas, and so we've got stadiums done for a whole bunch of stuff now for the foreseeable future. And luckily, I'm writing a book because Paul Tagliabue told me once, if you're in the stadium business, you ought to deal like what our friend Bill Ford does in Detroit, which is build cars. They're obsolete soon, so you're hired to build another one. So I've got to figure out how to get the next set of stadiums done, but I'm busy with the book.
You'll be fine. The Sports Business Handbook, insights from 100-plus leaders who shaped 50 years of the industry. Rick Horrow, Horrow. Rick, I'm sorry that you know Bob Sandsbury.
Well, thank God Michelle's on, because I thought it would be, and you're great, but, I've had enough of Sansevier. You can just tell him that.
I will tell him. There, you can tell him yourself.
Hey, I'm
I like
here.
that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought your hearing was as bad as it usually is. I love you. Sorry. I apologize.
Rick, come back. I'd love to talk a lot more about the Sports Business Handbook because there are so many different topics to cover. Please do come back.
I'd love to, man. I really would. So let's do it. Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Talk to you. Bye.
Rick Horrow, ladies and gentlemen, he is a very good speaker.
He's terrific, yeah. And
if I knew him better, I'd say, Harvard Law School, huh? Do your parents think they pissed their money away because you got into sports? But I don't know him well enough to do that yet. Maybe next time.
Well, next time, ask him about his college roommate.
Yeah, I know. It's Supreme Court Justice. The lead Supreme Court Justice.
Yeah, the Chief Justice.
Chief Justice John Roberts, yeah.